She said she was over him until she walked into our wedding wearing a white dress and called him my husband. They say every bride has her moment. That one season in life when everything feels like a fairy tale. Flowers blooming, dresses waiting to be chosen, a ring that sparkles just right under the sun. I thought that was the season I was in. My name's Emily, and I was in love. The kind of love that makes you believe in fate again. The kind that builds you up after you've been broken. My fiancé Jason was everything I had hoped for. Kind, grounded, thoughtful, and a man who made me feel like I was his entire world. We'd been together for 2 years before he proposed. A dreamy lakeside picnic, soft music playing from a hidden speaker, a sunset that painted the sky like a watercolor. I said yes through tears, laughter, and trembling hands. What I didn't know was that someone else had never truly said goodbye to him. Her name, Alana. Jason and Alana had history. 5 long years of it. College sweethearts, apparently. They broke up 3 years ago, before I ever came into the picture. According to Jason, it was mutual. They'd grown apart. Different goals, different dreams. But mutual friends, they still hung around. Social circles don't always break just because couples do. At first, Alana seemed like a ghost. Someone who once existed in his life, but no longer mattered. She wasn't part of our world. She didn't reach out, didn't message him. It felt safe until it didn't. When we posted our engagement photo online, the one where I'm laughing in his arms showing off the ring he chose, that's when it began. Alana liked it. Not commented, not congratulated. Just liked it. Subtle. But chilling. Then came the story views. Jason barely noticed, but I did. Instagram stories from our vacation, she viewed them all. Then the older photos, photos she had never touched before, started getting likes from her account. Vacation photos, date night selfies, even one of me and Jason in bed on a lazy Sunday with coffee mugs and messy hair. I asked Jason about it gently. He waved it off with a smile. She's probably just being nosy. Maybe it's some kind of closure for her. No big deal. No big deal. That phrase started becoming his favorite whenever her name came up, but something inside me twisted like a thread pulling tight. I tried to ignore it. I really did, because weddings are supposed to be about love, not fear, about joy, not exes. So we planned our big day. She wasn't invited, not even a thought. Not on the guest list, not even in the extended circle. She was the past, and I was Jason's future. But the past has a funny way of knocking on your door. Sometimes when you're already standing in your wedding dress, it started small, so small that I almost missed it. 3 weeks before the wedding, a bouquet arrived at our home. Pale roses, soft pinks, and whites with a little tag. But no name, no card, just best wishes. I smiled at it at first, maybe a distant relative, a coworker of Jason's. But then came the chocolates, a box of expensive truffles from a local boutique I had never even heard of. Again, no note, no name. Jason laughed when I brought it up. Probably a vendor trying to impress us, he said already, opening the box and popping one into his mouth. Free chocolate, I'll take it. But my stomach churned. The next one shook me. A parcel arrived, small, wrapped carefully, inside a white silk robe. Impeccable quality. So soft it felt like a whisper. Elegant, feminine, bridal. It looked almost exactly like the robe I'd bookmarked online, but never bought. Now I was unsettled. I never ordered this, I told Jason, holding it up. His brow furrowed for a second, then relaxed. Maybe one of your bridesmaids. A pre-wedding surprise, I checked with them. None of them had sent it. Still, I didn't want to seem crazy or controlling, so I smiled, hung the robe on the back of the door, and told myself to let it go. But the universe wasn't done. One of our mutual friends, Someone from Jason's college days dropped by to help with centerpiece planning. We were going over flower arrangements when she casually said, "Oh, you know what's wild? I saw Alana at that bridal boutique downtown. Looked like she was trying on veils. Maybe she's planning a wedding too." She laughed, sipping her coffee. Or just losing it. I tried to laugh too, but something inside me snapped awake. Why would Alana, who I hadn't seen in 3 years, be trying on wedding dresses? That evening, I searched her Instagram. Private, of course, but her profile picture had changed to a blurry mirror photo in what could be a white dress. No caption, just a rose emoji. Then it happened. She messaged me, a single DM, no hi, no pleasantries. Just this, hope your big day goes well. You've got big shoes to fill. I stared at it, frozen. I felt like someone had poured cold water down my back. Big shoes to fill. What did that even mean? I showed it to Jason. His face darkened for a moment, then softened. "She's unwell," he said quietly. "I'm sorry. I really thought she'd moved on." That night, I blocked her. On every platform, I refused to let someone like her live in my head rent-free. Not on the eve of the most important day of my life. I told myself I was done giving her energy. I wouldn't let her ruin this. But deep down, a seed of dread had already been planted. And it was starting to grow. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. And in many ways it was. At first. The venue was stunning. Soft strings played in the background. The florals were perfect, the aisle lit with gentle golden lights. My dress flowed like a dream, and my bridesmaids beamed with pride as we took pictures under the warm afternoon sun. I was nervous, excited, overwhelmed. Everything a bride should be. I stood just out of sight, moments away from walking down the aisle, hand clutching my bouquet, like it held my entire world together. And then I heard it. A murmur. At first soft, like wind rustling through leaves. But then it grew louder. Confused chatter. Heads turning. A bridesmaid rushed toward me, her eyes wide, voice low and trembling. "You're not going to believe who just walked in." My heart dropped. Before I could even ask, she whispered the name. Alana. At first I thought, no, it couldn't be. She wouldn't. Not here. Not today. But when I peeked through the curtain, I saw her, walking in slow motion, wearing a white bridal gown, a full-length lace masterpiece, tight-fitted bodice, a train trailing behind her like she was floating. Veil-down bouquet in hand, just like a bride, like me. The room had gone dead silent. Guests turned their heads as she walked down the side aisle. Not the main one, but close enough. And it felt like I was watching a movie, a horror film. She moved slowly, deliberately, like she belonged there. Like this was her day. One of the groomsmen stepped in front of her, blocking her path, gently but firmly. She smiled at him, sickeningly calm, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "I just wanted to see what I missed." Or maybe what he did. That's when she turned and tried to walk directly toward Jason, my groom. Security rushed forward. The officiant stepped back. My father, who had been preparing to walk me down the aisle, clenched his jaw so tightly I thought his teeth would crack. And then, as they tried to escort her out, she yelled, "Jason, you said you still loved me. You said this wasn't real." Gasps rippled through the room like thunder. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't move. The next few moments were chaos. Guests stood whispering, stunned. Phones came out. Someone dropped a glass. I felt the walls closing in around me as everyone turned to Jason. His face was pale, absolutely drained of color. He looked like he wanted to disappear. I expected him to shout back, to say she was lying, to defend me, to say something, anything that would make this make sense. Instead, he mumbled, "She's unstable. She's lying. I don't know what this is." Alana, still calm in that eerie, unhinged way, pulled out a small envelope. Inside, printed screenshots. She handed them to the nearest bridesmaid, who passed them to me like they were radioactive. I unfolded them with trembling hands. What I saw made my knees buckle. Text messages from Jason, dozens, maybe more, flirty, emotional, sentimental, damning. I'll always love you. Sometimes I wonder if it should have been you. I think about you when I can't sleep. She's great, but she's not you. This wedding is happening so fast. I don't know if I'm ready. Some messages were from just 2 weeks ago. I looked up from the papers and into his eyes. Jason couldn't meet my gaze. People around us were stunned. A collective heartbreak rippled through the room. I wasn't the only one betrayed. Everyone who believed in our love story, everyone who showed up to celebrate us, felt the rug pulled out from under them. I dropped the pages on the floor and turned. I didn't cry. Not yet. My body had shut down to survive. I just walked. Out of the aisle, out of the venue, out of the life I'd built with a man I thought I knew. Jason chased after me. Emily, please, please just give me 1 minute. I turned just once. He looked desperate, ashamed. I didn't mean any of it, he said. I was trying to let her down gently. I thought if I ignored her, she'd explode. So I kept the peace. I didn't cheat, I swear. It was emotional, but never physical. Please don't let her ruin us. But it wasn't her who ruined us. It was him. I said nothing. I got into the car with my maid of honor, and I didn't look back. There was no ceremony, no vows, no first dance, no happily ever after. The wedding was called off on the spot. As soon as Jason's messages were read aloud, as soon as the truth stood naked in front of 150 stunned guests, my parents stepped in. My father marched toward Jason like he was ready to throw him out himself. My mother, elegant, composed, and furious, told the wedding coordinator to cancel everything. Jason begged. He stammered, cried, pleaded. But nothing could undo the damage. The love of my life had lied to me, reached into his past, and pulled out a ghost, then handed her the power to haunt us. And the haunting had worked. Alana stood to the side during the chaos, watching it all unravel like she was enjoying a performance she had rehearsed for months. She smiled at me as they finally moved her toward the door. Told you he wasn't ready to move on. I stared at her. I could have screamed. I could have hit her. I could have sobbed in front of everyone. But I didn't. I looked at security and calmly said, "Thank you for handling this." As they turned to escort her out, she glanced back and smirked. "Don't thank me. Thank him for keeping the door open." I stood still. That sentence, it echoed. Because she was right. She couldn't have entered our world unless Jason had left it cracked open for her. The guests. Some started leaving quietly. Others stood around awkwardly, unsure what to say. A few hovered near the bar, whispering, sipping champagne, like it might erase the tension. One of the caterers nervously asked my mother, "Should we still serve the food?" My mother took a breath, nodded, and said, "It's paid for." And so, in a surreal twist of fate, people stayed. They ate the reception food. They sipped wine. They took home centerpieces. The wedding that wasn't turned into a polite dinner with gossip as the main course. As for me, I stayed at the bridal suite, alone, still in my dress, mascara streaking down my face. I curled up on the side of the bed we were supposed to share and sobbed until my body gave out. I didn't just cry for what was lost. I cried for who I had been. A woman who believed in forever, in promises, in honesty. But even in that moment, beneath all the humiliation and heartbreak, I felt one small thing bloom inside me. It's been exactly 1 year. 12 months since I stood in a wedding gown and watched my life unravel like a silk ribbon, cut too soon. And somehow I've never felt more alive. I moved cities, packed up the memories, the shame, the what-ifs, and left them behind. I started therapy. And for the first time in a long time, I learned how to live for myself. No wedding plans, no timelines, no bending for anyone else's needs, just me. I picked up remote work, began traveling. A few months in Lisbon, then Croatia, then Tokyo. I write from cafes, from rooftops, from tiny Airbnbs that smell like lavender and wood polish. I learned to laugh again, to trust myself again. Jason tried reaching out. A few emails, one long letter, even a missed call from an unknown number I know was him. I never replied. What's there to say? I hope you're well, I don't. I forgive you, I'm not ready. I still miss you, I don't. As for Alana, she went viral. Someone had filmed her wedding crash. The full entrance, the screaming, the confrontation. The video hit TikTok. Millions of views, memes, reenactments. She even did a podcast interview, called herself the woman scorned. But all I see is someone who mistook drama for love and attention for closure. She wore white to steal my wedding. But all she really did was help me dodge a bullet.